Hello and welcome to Grumpy Gamers. You're here with me, Pete, and alongside me this week I have Ben.
Hello.
And Eddie.
Hello.
Nice. And as usual, we will be going through a bit of the news, the new releases, a bit of what we've been playing, which includes Sonic Frontiers and God of War Ragnarok. Thank you, Ben.
The big ones, eh?
Yeah.
That's a game of the year discussion right there.
Well, it's the start of the big... November is just stacked full of games. It's fucking insane. I can't remember a month in gaming, not even February this year. February, March compares to this, I think. This is massive. I think just so many things.
I'm not sure I agree with you, but I accept.
Well, it's not for you, Pete, but
it's not for me.
For someone like myself, you got Sonic, God of War, we got Pokemon, we got Warzone, Football Manager, like. There's just so much stuff.
I love how Football Manager's wedged in there. I like that.
Yeah, just got to get it in the end there. Got to get it in.
Gotta get the same game every week. Yes.
Absolutely, buddy.
And I will pay 2,000 of hours of it. So
yeah, that is a fair point. And our feature this week is on the Nintendo Indie Direct that was on the 9th, wasn't it? I think it was late last week.
No, it was Wednesday. It's a couple of days ago.
Okay, right, fair. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right, Pete. That I've lost all track of days. No, it was last Wednesday. You see, so the 9th makes sense.
There you go. Right.
Wednesday a couple days ago. Ben.
Yeah, I thought...
Did you think it was Friday?
Days lose all meaning for me, Eddie. They lose all meaning.
The best bit about this is we're recording late. We're recording a day later than normal.
I don't work a normal work schedule, so forgive me. It's just all...
The days of the week have just blurred into one for Ben.
Absolutely. It's one long weekend, baby.
He's spent so much time playing Sonic and God of War that time has lost all meaning.
Oh, man. This week, I have smashed the game. I've played so much. It's like a proper fucking... I've spent more time playing games than working.
Okay.
Awesome.
I think that says more about something else, though.
Maybe it does.
Oh, well, should we get on to real news as opposed to personal life news, then?
Yes, let's do that. So the quick news, as we just said, Warzone 2.0 and DMZ. The event for that, showing them off for the first time with streamers, was held last week. I don't know if you caught any of that, Eddie, or you've caught up on videos afterwards, but I watched the event and it was... I don't think it was very good. I don't think it showed off I think the games are fine. Don't get me wrong. I think Warzone looks great and all that kind of stuff. I think Activision using the streamers, inviting them in to show it off, is in theory a good idea, but it didn't seem like they briefed them at all, and they gave them no time to practice settings. It was a bit of a clusterfuck, I thought.
Yeah, but why didn't they? I said this to you, didn't I, Ben, after watching some of the videos. Why didn't they just spend 20 minutes prepping them? Explaining what the game modes are and stuff.
No fucking idea. You got some streamers there. I mean,
they flew all the way to LA, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And especially DMZ, which is a new mode, which is looter extraction type shooter instead on the Warzone map. Some of them... One thing, the streamer should take it upon themselves to research this before going.
We shouldn't put all the blame there.
Let's not forget that. Maybe Activision assumed too much, but some of them just didn't have a fucking clue what they were going in there for.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, well, I'm never going to play this mode, so who cares? But regardless, that was an event shown. You can catch videos online of any kind of Warzone streamers, and Warzone comes out tomorrow. That'll be in our new releases. We'll talk about it there. The next one, finally, Ash Ketchum, off of Pokemon, is the greatest Pokemon trainer in the world. He won the Masters 8 tournament of the Pokemon World Coronation Series. So this is the first time in 25 years that he's actually won. He always fails otherwise. Yeah. So, but he's finally won, and I believe they actually showed the episode, or the final part of the episode, where he won on the side of buildings in central Shibuya. Yeah. So. That's how big it is in Japan.
Yeah.
It's massive. Even my girlfriend, who doesn't give a shit about gaming, literally went, "Oh, have you heard the Ash from Pokemon?" I was like, "Yes, I have."
I actually have.
Why is everyone talking about this?
Oh, that's so. Well, they've aired it in Japan. It's airing, I think, next year or something. elsewhere in the world, but that's quite a big, because this is prepping for Pokemon's release. Again, new releases, spoilers. It's prepping for the new Pokemon game, which is set to possibly be the biggest game launch ever in Japan.
Wow.
So it does add a little bit of spice to that as well. Just allows them to promote that a bit more. So
yeah. I do like this because it's taken him 24 and a half years longer than almost every other person who touched Pokemon to get to this point. And
still 9 years old.
He's still 10. He's still 10.
Yeah, no, 10 years old. Yeah, still rocking. Still.
If they'd actually aged him, it's a 35-year-old man. Finally.
Yeah. It's us, Pete.
Yeah, that's it. And he didn't go to school, didn't go to university, but he's finally world champion.
Well, no wonder he fucking kept on losing.
we tried at age 10 and we succeeded, and he didn't. So just repeating Groundhog Day over and over again.
He wasn't allowed to get older until he'd done it. Now
Is
it's
that
all gonna catch up
there's a
quickly.
dark backstory here,
God,
isn't there?
that is a tragic next season. Oh goodness, whew, that's a harsh paper round. Anyway, next one, Remedy have announced a sequel to Control, which was a Game of the Year candidate a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So that's nice for fans of that series. Then we have former WWE wrestler and Guardians of the Galaxy actor Dave Bautista. He really wants to play Marcus Phoenix in the Netflix Gears of War adaptation.
Mm. Yeah,
I think it suits the bill, doesn't he?
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Look for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I actually like him as an actor, and like you need for the Gears of War stuff. Surely you need that like beasting physique.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's all
That's
about
what you
that,
need.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, get Dave Bautista, maybe The Rock. Fantastic. Next one, Netflix animated Dragon Age series is getting a December release date. So anybody interested in the Dragon Age series? I didn't realise they were doing an animated series.
No, I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah, this is news to me as well, which is interesting. But I would be intrigued by this.
Yeah, want to have a look in anyway, isn't it? I mean, it does wonders to get people to play the older games as well, and a new Dragon Age is in development, isn't it? So, it all comes around. Next one, big quick news of the week: Mario Strikers now has a free demo. So what that means is you can play the whole game.
Yeah,
because there will be no other content that you really need to consider after playing that free demo. So play the game. Brilliant. Next one, new PS5 Slim is rumoured for Q3 of 2023, which actually does make sense because the PS4 came out in 2013 and then the Slim version of that came out in 2016 for Christmas. So there are rumours, and I think they are kind of heavy rumours, and it does work out timings-wise, even though that seems weird because it seems like this generation hasn't even started.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is like, where are they finding the chips to make the Slim version? Like, they don't have enough already.
But also PlayStation have done a hell of a lot of development in terms of making their current model of the PlayStation more economically viable, actually trying to net even / make a profit on that system because of reducing size of different components and all that kind of stuff. So they're doing the internal R&D. So it makes sense that a Slim model would come out and then you can fit X number more on a pallet. It makes the whole thing cheaper in terms of delivery costs and shipping and all that stuff. So, it would definitely make sense if they wanted to actually start to make some money on these systems instead of a loss like we talked about last week.
Of course.
Next one. This one I think is a big one. Well, it would be a big one for you, Pete, but you played it on PC. Anyway, Witcher Next Gen release has been... The update for that has been announced for the 14th of December, and it's a free download if you already own the game. But if you haven't got a next-gen console, do not fear, because the Xbox One, the PS4, and the Switch versions are receiving an update with, and I quote, numerous additions and improvements.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
as another console, you can fail to complete.
Yes. I was thinking, because I think John put up on Twitter about how he was going to attempt to play it yet again to try and get into it. I think he's been waiting for the next-gen release, and I probably will as well. And it's just deciding which version I play at this point. Which version I get the next-gen catch on. So, yeah. Then we have, on Twitch yesterday. Nico, or Dino on Twitch, I've talked about him a number of times on this podcast. He completed the God Run 3 yesterday after 120 days of trying. So the God Run is completing Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring all in a row without taking one hit. He'll never hear this unless I clip it for Twitter or something, but congratulations, my man. That is quite the achievement.
That is you have to want to achieve it, mustn't you?
He's a professional. It is his his niche, but he is a streamer. That's his job, and he streams he has 1 day off a week, I think, and 120 days. Why am I reading that?
You're not really struggling with that zero there, Ben.
Yeah, it's not good. 120 days, but actually, that is the quickest time because the God Run. This is the third God Run because every time a new game comes out, it gets added to it. But the other two God Runs have taken a lot longer than that. So to do it in 120 days is insane. Like, I could never even imagine no-hitting any of these games, let alone all 7. So congrats.
Yeah.
And finally on the quick news, Kirk gave us a story from The Verge. Phil Spencer confirmed in an interview that he is open to a longer-term commitment that Sony would be comfortable with regarding Call of Duty. Again, he is doing the rounds, isn't he? Continues to go on podcasts or wherever just to say the same thing. He's just playing the game. He's open to, and they intend, and all this kind of stuff. It's the same thing as he's saying all along. I don't think it moves the conversation forward at all. It just...
Man does job, isn't it?
Man does job. Man does job. Can change mind at any moment. Perfect.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is what I said earlier. Like, I likened to it. If your boss said, "Yes, I absolutely am open to and intending to give you an inflationary pay rise," but they never do.
It means nothing. Yeah.
It means nothing. Anyway, that's the quick news.
And on to the main news then, which is pretty God of War heavy, it's got to be said, because Ragnarok, day one UK sales have outsold God of War 2018.
Yeah.
That's pretty
impressive.
big to start
Impressive,
with,
yeah.
Yeah, so this is the physical sales for the UK, which were greater than any other full week launch sales for other titles in the franchise. Who was it? GFK's boss Dorian Block stated that God of War Ragnarok would debut as number 1, which isn't really a big surprise, and added in that it's the first cross-gen title in the series, which is going to help, to be fair. But
yes.
So this doesn't include the digital downloads, which I think is the key bit there. So we can probably say overall there's going to be more digital downloads than physical sales.
Yes, it's about 50-50, isn't it? But it is increasing all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I think it's nudging closer to 60-40 as we move. So we can say it's had a very, very good first week.
Absolutely.
It was added to this, by the way, that more than half of all PlayStation 5 console sales this week were part of the promotional God of War bundle.
Whoa.
I thought that was the most mental part.
Yeah.
Like... So that bundle, that is the PlayStation 5 God of War bundle, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the one we're talking about. That comes with a console.
Yes.
So that's insane. Like,
what was the bundle? Do we know? Like price?
No, I don't.
Because do you remember we saw the VR bundle that I told you about last week, and it was literally the same bloody price with the extra games. So
yeah. I don't know. Maybe you saved it a little bit because they had one for Horizon, which I'm sure was a slight discount or something. Yeah. It just seems mental that people are like rebuying, because presumably if you're getting God of War day one, you probably pretty diehard kind of. You're a hardcore.
Well, this is
PlayStation
what I wondered. Is it just that this is the trigger for a bunch of PS4 owners to go, yeah, I'll get it now?
Oh, good point.
You know what I mean? Is it just they've gone like, all right, finally, I'll do it?
It's a good shout.
That's a really
I wonder
good
how
point.
many were double dippers, though.
Yeah.
Because I've only ever got a console when there's a game like for it, if you know what I mean. I mean, apart from this series, exactly. It's always, I always hold off. You know, waiting for a deal. Don't really look for deals. But then there's that one game that makes me go, fuck, now I have to get it. So yeah, that's
yeah. I've seen the bundle box. I assumed the PlayStation looked a bit different, but it probably doesn't, does it? It probably is just a normal looking PS5, so there wouldn't be any double dippers. You wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think
you have more money than anyone. Yeah,
but you sell your original one, wouldn't you? I mean, or just keep it lying around like
someone else on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And my Xbox. Yeah, I've got several Xboxes and several Switches. It doesn't matter.
Please,
that's more laziness. More than
anything.
Please do something about it.
Yeah,
you're already hoarding.
Maybe these will be worth marginally more than they currently are in 20 years' time.
Yes. But anyway,
and with inflation, they'll be worth less. Yeah.
But this was the whole story, by the way. There's no more to it than that. But I don't think there needs to be because. Well,
oh no! It's big. The fact that digital sale percentage is probably rising, and given that the last one came out in 2018, it's quite impressive that those physicals have held over, isn't it? Like that is incredibly impressive. Now the God of War 2018, I think has sold, I think it's 23 million. It's 23 million copies, which is insane as well. Like that. That is mental. So yeah, this is going to do amazing numbers as well, and good luck to it. Like fantastic.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing more about it later. We've actually got more about it in the news, haven't we, as well?
Nice segue.
Yes.
Very good segue. God of War Ragnarok Collector's Edition, missing games codes and steelbook on some deliveries. Got to have some negative news, don't you? I know what good. God of War's Ragnarok $200 Collector's Edition comes in a gold embossed box with a 16-inch replica of Norse god Thor's hammer. Pete, what's Thor's hammer called?
Mjolnir.
Is that Pete? That was fucking brilliant. It's like you're from fucking Odyssey. That's incredible. A set of engraved dwarven dice, downloadable cosmetics, and more. That and more ideally will suck out some of the sting if you, like other buyers, have reported. Open up your $200 box and realise that it's not only is there no steelbook display case, but there's no game code either. Basically, there's been quite a few recorded issues of it. Sony, on a lot of occasions, and this has been posted by people, are blaming retailers and saying you need to go to your retailer, blah, blah, blah. And then, again, people have posted the replies from the retailers, and the retailers are going, no, you need to contact Sony. So yeah, while Sony and its retailers chase each other in circles, Ragnarok director Cory Barlog is apparently taking it into his own hands. He's posted on Twitter to someone's messages, did you ever get a response or code yet? And then the person says basically no, and then he actually gives them a code. And this has happened a few times. Don't get me wrong, people are still upset and they're posting things like Sony need to get off their arse and help me because the director can't do it all. But yeah, first of all, it's very upsetting that there's loads of cases that have been said about. Obviously, it's really cool that Corey's kind of getting involved and trying to help out as much as possible. Probably because he doesn't want this to be a big thing.
Yes, you don't want it to overshadow, do you?
Exactly. That's the problem with these game launches. All it takes is something silly. We all know the Fallout 76 stupid duffel bag thing. It was a shit game anyway, so you can't really. But
and the cheap crap duffel bags did not go well, did they? Yeah.
They didn't go down well when it was a shit game as well. Yeah, shit game, shit. Oh, just shit. Just everything shit.
With this one, there's quite a few bits because I heard about the Sony responses. The main thing was things go wrong. Like sometimes things don't get included and all that, bad batches, all that kind of stuff. So that can happen. I don't think anybody's saying like that shouldn't happen. Like it will. It's human error and all that kind of stuff. It's Sony's initial response was their standard, we'll get back to you within 5 to 7 business days.
Yes, yeah,
I'm sorry?
that was posted a lot.
I'm sorry, I've spent $200, and this is $200.
That's what's most mad about this, by the way.
In Black Friday, you can get a Series S for $250.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
And this is $200. Now, these are your fans who love it so much that they are spending $200 on a collector's edition. Sony should almost have a team ready to take to action any requests that come in around it. Like that should be, they should have a few people on standby to be dealing with this. Now, it might not be as widespread as we think, but I do actually know of a streamer who unboxed live on...
Oh, no.
Yeah, live on thing. And she said just before when she opened it and she couldn't find it, she was like, about to get real salty.
And you can't
what are we missing?
It, can you?
What are we missing?
Yeah.
So yeah, yes, it's crazy, but amazing work by Corey Barlog. That's cool.
I know, that's really cool. Yeah, I like that.
For him to actually take the time to get involved, even if it's a couple of people, just
great.
These are your big fans.
Work.
Absolutely,
big fans.
Yeah, even if it is probably out of pure panic.
Also,
we don't know how widespread this is, but Sony keep getting kind of blasted in the media for different things, don't they?
They can't do anything well when it's PR.
No.
I do like that they immediately just went, well, it's the retailer's fault. That's a great place to start with.
Yeah, it's not great when you're getting the people who spent $200 to go chasing things around.
Yes.
Sony retailer back to Sony, then worried they're not going to get response. All this kind of stuff. How do you prove that it's not there? All this kind of nonsense. So. Yeah, what a shame. Third main story of the week, we had the Game of the Year nominees. They've been announced. So of the kind of Jeff Keighley show that will be going on the 8th of December. So the 6 that are involved for Game of the Year are Elden Ring, God of War, Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, A Plague Tale Requiem, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and Stray. I think the list is fairly standard based on reviews, except for the surprise that, in my mind, would be that Stray made the list.
Yeah. I mean, it was the least likely one of the 6, wasn't it? But
it definitely was. Yeah, it's kind of that spot where you think, "Ooh, this," where they look at. It's not. What term do you say, Andy? Don't you? It's like an A-produced indie.
Yeah.
Where. It's like looking to, is there an indie game or something that can fit in to kind of spread the net a little bit. I was surprised that Neon White, I thought if there were an indie or not a AAA to be getting in there, I thought Neon White with its 90 Metacritic might slip in.
That's it. You'd think Neon White would have a better chance than Plague Tale for one.
That's what, right, so there's two things. Yeah, I'm surprised Stray's in, but I'm very happy about it. A Plague Tale... Are people saying that's a good game? Because everyone I've talked to... And I'm really upset about this, because this means I have to fucking play it now.
Well, I tell you what, I think it's a mid-80s on Metacritic.
It's a good... From what I played, it was a good game. It just wasn't what I hoped for.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
I'm going to play it. I'll let you know what I think next week. But I'm also... surprised that I'm happy, but Bayonetta 3, everyone's saying it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. I know that also hasn't got a look into that. That is also a mid-80s score. Now that could have easily made this list. I think there are quite a few that could have made this list. There's that Norco game that has an 89 on Metacritic. We mentioned it the other week. I hadn't heard of it. It's actually coming to Game Pass this month, November.
Really?
That's been confirmed, as well as June. That's been confirmed as well. But yeah. Because I think the list of November Game Pass games came out today, so yeah, Norco's in there. I don't know if this probably isn't interesting. Last of Us Part 1. I don't even know if that qualifies.
I really hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't.
Because obviously that had a high Metacritic score.
Yes.
But there are other remakes and stuff, even Tactics, Ogre's Tactics, whatever it's called. That had an incredible Metacritic score as well, and that's not in here, and that's a remake. I don't know if remakes get in.
Yeah, so they qualify. That's a good point.
It did. We kind of put them in ours, but I don't think they do they? Because Mass Effect wasn't in there.
Mass Effect Legendary wasn't in there, was it? I mean, Dead Space next year, will that count? Because it's ground up.
Yeah, but Last of Us 1 wasn't it?
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
Not allowed.
Yeah. Kid's right.
No,
what I'm interested in is seeing how much recency bias has an impact on this. Because
it must.
Everyone's forgotten about Horizon Forbidden West, of the ones on the list. And even Elden Ring is not going to be remembered as strongly as like God of War.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It will peak because it's human nature and it's being voted for by journalists. We can also have a vote, but we only account for a small percentage. Like the public's vote is, I don't like a 10% or something of the final vote. So, and it's the journalists voting, so they will have recency bias just because it's human nature, I suppose.
Yeah, that's it.
But. Yeah, it just is what it is. We're not going to give away a lot on what our thoughts are on Game of the Year, etc., because we have our own show. Remember,
we do.
That will probably be released between Christmas and New Year for your listening pleasure. That's what we were discussing the other day, weren't we? Probably between Christmas and New Year.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, and we did mention it last week, but formally say it this week that Christopher Love, a.k.a. Deadbeat Punk, a.k.a. the host of the popular podcast WTF DYW, or What the Fuck Do You Want, will be joining us for the antics of the Game of the Year show as well, so we look forward to that one.
Yes, indeed.
So they're the nominees, and there are many other categories as well, so go and check it out on the actual Game of the Year website. But yeah, 8th of December is the live show on the evening.
Is it some obscene time? I can't remember.
I believe it's like an 8 till 12 or a 9 till 1 for us in the UK. I think because I think I watched.
I remember watching some of one of them. But...
Yeah, I remember. I think maybe it goes on a little bit because I remember watching some. Maybe I watched it again in the morning. So yeah, it probably does kind of go into territory of going to bed. So
yeah.
I think it's on a Thursday as well. That's upsetting.
Well. I think I've got Christmas party on the Friday, so
I actually think that my Christmas party is on the Thursday, so I might be watching that drunk.
Shit. Okay.
Nice. All right, let's move on to new releases. The first one is quite a biggie. It's Warzone 2 coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, no Switch. There you go, Ben. How do you feel about that?
I feel fine about it because everyone knows it's not coming to Switch, so it's not new news.
It's this kind of just cements the Switch.
I feel absolutely fine about console. It, Eddie,
like
Eddie, 100%. I feel great about it. If anything, I celebrate it.
Coming out November 16th. So today, if you're listening yesterday, it's Warzone. It's got the DMZ mode as well, Ben. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it recently. We've talked about it individually between
us. I forgot what the name was
on the show.
I almost said TMZ, but isn't that like a gossip program in America?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's a thing like that. But yeah, DMZ. It's a good day, and the Battle Pass will be coming out as well. So
yeah. I'm going to be chucking loads of hours into the DMZ mode, and I think we're going to, on Friday night, Ben, we're going to have a little, if all the loading and fucking downloading and all the servers are all working on Friday, we're going to try and play it all together, which will be...
Yeah, so
officially hours afterwards.
It officially launches 6 p.m. in the UK on the 16th, so on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Now, I know streamers are all going to be trying to play it, so it should theoretically work, but we know. I mean, what happened when we tried to play Caldera to start with? Like, we just gave up, and we gave up for months as well. We just went, this is bullshit.
Wasn't it?
This is terrible.
And that was the longest we ever went off Warzone, wasn't it? We probably didn't touch it for over 3 months, I reckon.
Yeah, or more, yeah. We just went, it's
it was unplayable, so... not going to do that, and that's why they need to hit the ground running. But
DMZ is actually a beta. They said the DMZ mode is a
right.
beta, so I think they're prepping for a lot more to be added to it. I'm wondering how the loop of that, whether that is enough to actually keep people playing. But we will report back on that. I think.
I'm going to play the shit out of it. The only thing I was really devastated to read was that you go in as a trio, don't you?
No, you can do it single and duos by turning off the squad film.
You can, but like that's like no one will do that basically, because you can do that on Warzone. You can go into quads as a single. You just don't put autofill.
Yes,
but
yes, you can.
No one does that unless they're absolute pros.
I think this is a slightly different thing. We'll just have to see how it pans out. Like they actively say it's trios, but in their blog post they do say singles and duos.
But if you're a single player going into a trio, like the way I'm trying to say is, I will always go in as a trio. Because if I come across a trio by myself, I'm dead every single time.
Absolutely, 100%.
And that devastates me, because I would have loved it to be like a single player thing. But yeah,
they might add it in though. So
yeah,
hopefully.
Well, we'll see. Next one, Aspire 2, coming out on Quest 2, November 17th. Set in the year 2036, Aspire 2 marks the return of Aspire Agent PoE, the primary operator of Aspire. After emerging from a 7-year coma, PoE is thrust back into the world of dark espionage as the centerpiece of the Aspire project. This is a stealth action VR game. It looks really cool, if I'm going to be honest, but I love the look of all VR games. I would love to play it. It's only 20 quid, but of course it's on VR, so you need to take out a mortgage first to buy all the equipment stuff. What do you guys think?
Oh, first-person shooter in VR, like that'd be pretty cool.
I like there's loads of stealth elements to it as well. So it's not just, the usual running in and shooting. And you can do things like hack computers and see where people are and stuff like that. So there was a cool like 4-on-4 VR shooter, multiplayer shooter, which was called something like Dark Zero or something. But the problem with it is obviously if it's multiplayer based and you're just not getting the players, then it kind of dies a death no matter how... Yeah.
Kind of, it's a niche market, isn't it? So
very.
Like it would be cool though, wouldn't it? Would be really cool.
Love it.
Yeah,
absolutely love to play this, but it's not happening with the price tag. Next one, Frozen Flame, coming out just on PC, November 17th. A challenging exploration and survival adventure set in the dying world of dragons. Only those who harness the power of Frozen Flame have the means to survive the harsh conditions of the realm and able to muster the strength to cleanse it for good. I'm glad I said cleanse, because I saw clean, and I was going to go cleans, but I soldiered through. There's a third person, a little cartoon graphics. It's very bright. There's all the usual stuff that you can do on these kind of games, like the crafting and upgrading and stuff like that. There are special abilities and special enemies, though. It looks pretty standard. What do you guys think?
I think your last sentence hit the nail on the head for me a bit.
100%. 100%. I thought exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it's going to set the world alight in any way.
No, it's a packed genre, so...
yes, absolutely.
You're in trouble. All right, let's move on to Game of the Year. Goat Simulator 3, coming out PC, PlayStations and Xbox. Next gen only, apparently. November 17th. Pilgor's back! See that? It's got like 4 A's for our listeners. I'm not just getting excited. Gather your herd and venture forth into Goat Simulator 3, an all-new, totally realistic multiplayer sandbox farmyard experience. So those of you, I'll just read out some key features. Key feature number 1. This is from their website. You can be a goat.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a key feature.
This time we actually hired game designers and we're told they've added an okay amount of content, events, NPCs to mess with. Physics, status effects, collectibles, Easter eggs, lies, betrayal and heartbreak. They've added minigames too, lots of minigames, 7 to be precise. There is a disclaimer, Goat Simulator 3 is another completely stupid game. Will this game teach you how to become one of your local herd? Probably not. Learning about real goats with David Attenborough or something would absolutely be the smarter thing to do.
Best blurb.
Best blurb ever. Thank you, Goat Simulator. We always knew you were going to be Game of the Year, but it's blurbs like that. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Are you guys ever going to get this, though?
Well, Goat Simulator 1 came onto Game Pass, and then they obviously skipped Goat Simulator 2 because they didn't fancy it. But I think there is actually a story to Goat Simulator. I think it's actually like it's a level-based thing. Or interesting. It's not on Game Pass day one, so I'm not going to play it immediately. But when it comes on Game Pass, I assume it'll come on Game Pass at some point. I'll definitely play it.
Yeah, that's fair. I do like the look of Hoofball, by the way.
That's one of the mini games. Just makes me think of
Rocket League with goats, which sounds fantastic.
that's what we've all wanted.
Yeah.
Oh dear me. All right, let's move on. My Fantastic Ranch coming out on PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch, November 17th. Train dragons and unicorns in your fantastic ranch. Take care of them and build relationships between them. That's a really bad sentence. And students through riding lessons. Become the most famous ranch in the Enchanted Kingdom.
I think the relationships were between them and the students, not between each other.
Oh, okay. Take care of them and build relationships between them and students. Yeah, it still reads really badly.
Yeah, it does. It does. But...
it's like a ranch builder and management game. It is designed for kids. Quite clearly, they've gone down that route. It's kind of got like an Animal Crossing look to it. I'm not going to shit on this because like the building elements to it looks fun. The kind of atmosphere it all, I bet for kids would be lovely, but even for adults, it's like pleasant. And of course, there's like farming and stuff, so obviously I'm all in.
I know Pete won't shit on this.
Why?
Because you get to train a dragon.
Ah, very good.
Even so.
There are limits, Ben.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's Pete's favourite movie, but come on.
It's my hangover movie, and I defend that for life.
I saw this, and I was like, Pete, there we go. I mean,
weirdly enough, I saw this and thought it's a Ben game. So
no, you get to train dragons.
The Animal Crossing kind of Ben. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if in 3 weeks Ben will be going. By the way, for the past 3 weeks, I've been playing my fantasy.
He's going to put it out for Game of the Year, isn't he?
If it's on Game Pass, it is on Switch. So
if it was on Game Pass,
it didn't. What I would say is, it didn't look like it had a stellar frame rate.
Oh, yeah.
It looked a bit.
For the audience, it looks like a Switch game.
And
that's what
wind that back a moment. And even when you said Animal Crossing, look, I stopped myself from jumping in there because that's a bit hurtful to Animal Crossing. But this is
no, Ben. I'm saying this looks okay. I reckon if this is on Game Pass, I'd play it. There you go. Big comment.
Pete would.
I don't know how to tell you this, Ben, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, I know you would. Yeah, I get it, Pete. Yeah,
I believe it's in Pete's Game of the Year.
I think it's on his wish list.
We'll find out. It's actually not yet.
Not yet, because you've only just heard about it.
Yeah,
my God,
he's left the door open.
Yeah. I mean,
don't tease.
It's got something for everyone here.
Very good. That got drowned out by Pete, but that was really good banter, Ben. I appreciate it.
What I'll do is I'll just silence his audio at that
point.
Good bit is I drowned it out, so I didn't hear it at all. So I get to listen to that on the way back and be like,
Yeah, you'll listen to that back and you'll feel sick. Right, next one, Oakenfold, coming out on PC, November 17th. Heavy day. Outsmart your foes in this clever turn-based strategy roguelike. Utilise the unique Time Scrubber (TM) mechanic to discover the optimal solution. Just never forget, every step matters. Just so you know, Time Scrubber (TM) is a freely usable undo and redo system. So it's just a fucking undo button. It's a basic turn-based roguelike game. It looks okay. That the animations are really quite fucking simple, which is a bit of a shame. You would have thought they would have put some effort into it. But I guess the tactics element to it could be fun. What do you guys think? Pete, I'm looking at you here. Do you think this is okay?
I don't.
Fuck's sake.
This is one of those games that is in a packed genre and will just disappear. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And there's much better ones, much better looking ones, much deeper ones. So
yeah, I agree. But my one point here would be, have they called it Time Scrubber TM? Or have they trademarked the Time Scrubber system?
I think
because if they've trademarked it, they really believe in that system. They fucking believe in that system.
Yeah.
It must be fucking good. Or if they've just called it Time Scrubber TM, I salute them because they've made me ask the question and made me come to the conclusion that it must be fucking good.
I don't think so. They've got the little TM next to it every single time in all the descriptions and everything. So, like, I think they've actually trademarked it.
So, must be good, guys. They believe in it.
It's a fucking undo button. It's an undo button, people.
No, but they were able to trademark it, so hey, must be quite unique.
Dear me. Watch out, Microsoft Word. You're going to have your undo button taken away. Star Sand, coming out on PlayStation's Xbox's November 17th. Star Sand is a mystical survival game set among the dunes of an arcane desert. An open world full of danger, vast environments, and mysterious happenings await you. Explore, hunt, craft, build, and survive. I feel like all these survival games end with a combination of 5 words. Like explore, hunt, craft, build. Craft, build will always be there. Explore will probably be there, and survival will probably be there. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Be better. This looks frighteningly like Conan. In fact, when I looked at gameplay, I thought, "Is this the first hour of Conan?" But it's not, unless they just copied it from Conan. It has. No, I've looked, and it has nothing extra that Conan or Ark don't already do. It's a shame because I think this looks quite nice, and I love these kind of games. But
what I sorry, you go, Pete.
I was just going to say it's been out for a year on PC. This one, and
it's very positive.
Positive reviews, especially recently. They're very positive. I think it was early access before.
It's still in early access on PC.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
But yeah, to me, it just looks like Conan gameplay in a sort of medieval Dune. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're clearly channeling Dune.
Yes. Yeah.
But
my main thing about looking at this was like, what is driving you to play this game? Like what is the point of this? I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, what's the cool loop? What's the cool thing? That I'm on sand.
I think there's absolutely no cool loop, and that's what will make this game a flop. But I do know people who play, your Arks, your Conans, and they
Nothing
are
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it.
No, absolutely not. I've played fucking thousands of hours of bloody Ark and probably a couple hundred of Conan, but it's just. People are looking for their next one to all jump online with their mates to play. So, but I feel like they need something extra.
Yeah, the trailer or the original video that I watched for this was just showing a shitload of sand. Okay, and then he threw a spear at just one fucking animal or something. I was like, what the fuck is this it? What's the hook here?
I do wonder though, Ben, if they put it in snow, you'd have been all in, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, fucking all in, man.
Different climates.
Yeah, but they didn't. They didn't.
So for all the people who like hot places, that's their thing.
Who are those people? Sounds irritating.
I will say that
quote Anakin.
I will say that they're the producers, Toplitz Productions. They actually they funded Medieval Dynasty, which, as you know, I think is a fucking amazing game.
They never miss.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. They've got some other games too, but
I've only heard about one. Pete. That's 100% record.
All right, I'll tell you another one that I know you'll love, Ben. Lumberjacks Dynasty.
Fantastic.
See, I considered mentioning that one and went with the Unicorn Princess instead, which is also on the list.
Well, Ben,
well, actually, I liked My Fantastic Ranch, so.
Well, there you go. All right, cool. Let's move on. The Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me, coming out on PC, PlayStation's, Xbox's November 18th. A group of documentary filmmakers receive a mysterious call inviting them to a modern-day replica of serial killer H.H. Holmes' murder castle. But on arrival, they soon discover they're being watched and even manipulated, and suddenly there is much more at stake than just their ratings. It's a cinematic horror game. It's multiplayer. It says share your story online with a friend or aim for safety in numbers through the offline 5-player pass the pad mode.
Oh, so you get to vote on what to do.
Yes. Yeah, I quite like that. In fact, I'm actually looking for a new game to play with my girlfriend just to and I'm looking for one of these kind of games. I mean,
these are good for that. They are good for that, and they are at a reduced price as well. They don't come out full price. They come out about 30 quid. I played the last one, didn't I? House of Ashes.
Yeah, you did.
This one's 35, but that's obviously pre-purchased. So,
but it is made by Supermassive, who are these are the games that they are. They're really good at. They're super massively good at it. So, although I didn't really like the Quarry, and nor did you, Pete. I think mostly. So they do miss sometimes.
It must be said they aren't my type of games anyway.
I quite like them. I quite enjoy them.
Yeah, I know you do. They're not really my type of thing, but I can see why people appreciate it.
Thing is, it peaked at Until Dawn for me with them, and never quite hit those heights. But House of Ashes is okay. Quite enjoyed it.
Okay. Move on. Heidelberg 1693 coming out on PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch November 18th. Black Magic in the Age of Pike and Shot. Reload your musket after every blast in Heidelberg 1693, a challenging 2D action-adventure set in a dark, twisted vision of Germany in the late 17th century. This game looks like it was made in 1693. It's a 2D...
very nice.
Yeah, see what I did there? 2D, yeah, it's like I'm going to go as far back and say 1980s game look. With 2D 1980s game mechanics as well. This is the kind of game that I would rant on and say it's unforgivable that these games.
Oh, you're all in on this game, I take it then, yeah. Let's see.
At least it's it's £11. It's been out a year on PC. So
what's its ratings on PC? Is it
positive with only 40 reviews?
Oh, big time.
Big time.
Big time.
But I mean, it's getting a console release, so
hey, that's more than Unicorn Princess, which only has 25. So
that's only.
Why are you on the Steam page for Unicorn Princess?
Because I had to look at it up.
Because he thought maybe you could train dragons.
Yes, maybe I could train unicorns.
He had to make sure there was no dragon training in it before he canned it.
Oh, fuck my life. Do either of you like this?
I mean, the only thing I'll say about it is it looks like the guys from the Empire and Warhammer.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But,
yes, yeah, the hats and the trousers.
Yeah, everything about it is like adding in black magic as well is what made me think that. But I don't really think 2D side scrolling is the way to live out that idea if you wanted to.
Yeah, and it looks proper crappy graphics as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. To Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, coming out on Switch November 18th. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet are the first open-world RPGs in the Pokemon series. As you enjoy the hallmarks of the series, meeting, teaming up with, battling, training, and trading Pokemon, you'll be able to immerse yourself in a newly evolved adventure. Ben, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, it's going to look shit. The frame rate is going to be absolutely fucking garbage, and it's going to have no voice acting, but I'm going to play the shit out of it.
And I'm going to pay full price. Maybe pre-orders?
Full price.
Pre-orders?
Yeah, absolutely, my friend.
Oh, and Switch, how much, Ben? Come on, tell us.
I think it's 45.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's not as tragic as I thought it'd be.
No. But you're going to get all the usual look gash, frame rate awful, have to read everything, get those annoying noises. But it's open world Pokemon for the first time. I'm just hoping that the difficulty is slightly. Because that's where they've been in the last couple of Pokemon games. The difficulty has just been so easy, and it's just annoyingly so. You have to just make your own kind of adventure with it.
It's going to be harder.
I just like a little bit. I mean, Pokemon games are great because you can make it as hard as you want, I suppose, by enforcing your own rules, but you shouldn't have to as much.
No,
just a little bit harder.
I can't do that. It just loses the immersion, when you like purposely don't do something. Yeah. I think it's up to the developer to sort it out, to me.
Yeah, I think there should be something that done. Anyway, but it's going to... I think this will be, as I said, shaping up to one of, if not the biggest game release in Japan. I think this will do massive numbers. It will eclipse any of the other games that we're talking about, the Game of the Year candidates and all that kind of stuff. This will sell more than that, over and above, even if it's whatever. But I'm hoping that reviews come out and it reviews well for its open world, but I have a feeling it's going to get a bit shit over for its poor performance, because Nintendo Life released an article or something a couple of weeks ago and a video saying, like, from what they played, it isn't great performance. And it's just, we've talked about it many times, not going to go on about it too much, but the fact that this is the biggest franchise, like anime, games, all this kind of stuff in the world, and it's still a relatively small team without the massive investment in it, and they could do so much. But at least this is a progression to open world, so enjoy what we can.
Okay. Pete,
I'll talk about it next week.
Well, it's only on Switch, so not really.
Yeah.
But I assumed Ben would be more hyped than he was there. So I'm really looking forward to it.
This is weird, but I'm excited because, Ben, you're normally really up for the Pokemon games, and then you're always disappointed. So dare I say, is this going to be the other way round?
Yeah, I know. Going at I'm starting to get excited. Need to push
no.
Come on,
no voice acting.
It's really easy to push him over the edge. Come on, calm yourself.
Fucking hell, yeah. Just think about the frame rate. Think about the frame rate. Think about the animation of the trees. Yep, and the grass. Yeah. Okay. Right. Fine. Yeah. No.
Really
I'm going in with realistic expectations, hoping for something really good.
Personal growth.
Yeah. There we go.
Nice.
There we go. It's a new me. Cool. New me.
Okay. Next one, Evil West, coming out on PC, PlayStation, Xboxes, November 22nd. A dark menace consumes the Old West in solo or co-op. Fight with style in visceral, explosive combat against bloodthirsty monstrosities. I was going to say monstro. No, that's going to fuck that up. Eradicate. I haven't fucked up yet this week, have I?
No, you haven't. No.
Ooh,
you did skip over a word.
You skipped over a word earlier in the news story.
Yes.
You actively just went and skipped it over.
Yes, I did. Because where was it?
Was it remediation?
Oh, yeah.
That's it. I skipped over it because it didn't need it either. So I was like, I'm not going to fucking read that.
Well, I'm not sure you knew whether, Eddie, I don't know if you knew whether it needed it because you just went, don't know what it is.
No, that's when someone gives back. No, I don't know. Right. We'll move on. I've lost my place now because I've scrolled up to the fucking news story. Eradicate the vampiric hordes with your lightning-fueled gauntlet and become the Wild West superhero. The developer is Flying Wild Hog, who did Truck to Yomi, who did like Shadow Warrior, and the publisher is Focus Entertainment, who did Plague Tale. They did SnowRunner. Ben, you liked that. Greedfall, Farming Simulator.
Yeah, those are a lot of good games.
Really, really good combination there. It's a third-person action-adventure game. It's cowboys versus vampires, so what else do you want? You can play co-op. It has great visuals. I really, really like the look of this. You can evolve with perps, upgradable weapons and tools. So it's obviously got that little bit extra. Dare I say, this actually looks like it could be a good game. What do you guys think?
I'm on board with you, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
My only... it's weird that they call it the Old West, because some of the scenes look Old West and some of the scenes really don't, if you know what I mean. And I did, the moment I heard it was against vampires, I was like, I'm sure Ben's in for this at some stage.
Ben likes a good vampire.
I'm not into this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think this is going to be quite poor.
Oh, why are you saying that
Yeah,
for?
I don't. I think this has been hyped up a lot.
Is this more of you managing expectations, Ben, so that you can?
I don't know. Like, I'm
love
looking
it.
at this. I've looked at the gameplay, the videos, the set pieces that they've shown, and all that kind of stuff, and I just think this looks very done before. Like, I don't know. Like, I looked at some of the set pieces and I thought, well, I'd just rather be playing God of War. And I know I'm comparing that to God of War, but there's other. I don't know. Like, I just
Ben, all right, let me counter that. What if this came out at a different time when there was no other amazing bangers coming out?
I think that's a really good point. I think this is a really tough month, honestly, because I thought it was coming to Game Pass. I looked earlier and it wasn't. I just think it's an incredibly tough month for this game to be coming out, and it would have to be an absolute banger to really be a success. But it has been hyped, and people are looking forward to it.
Yeah, and my only issue is it's 44 quid.
Yeah, 44 quid.
Which seemed a bit higher than I'd like.
Well, actually, I kind of think that's about where I'd like, because it's not going full price. Then it's
we live in different worlds, Ben. Different worlds.
Yes, well, we do live in different worlds because this is a console game, and the reality is that most console games come out for a higher price point. Callisto Protocol is only coming out for 45, which I thought was remarkable. But most other games will take advantage of that. So I don't know. I'm being a bit skeptical on this one.
Yeah, negative Ben came along to that.
Yeah. Sozzle.
Next one, Just Dance 2023, coming out on PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch. On Switch? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Doesn't make a difference, does it, actually? November 22nd, not going to do the spiel because it's fucking Just Dance.
Come on.
Fuck you. Am I doing it for fucking Just Dance? I didn't know people still played this.
Yeah, I know, it's mad.
This is the first year that it's not coming out on the Wii, isn't it?
Quite possibly. I think it's also the last of the yearly releases because they're just going to update it forever.
Is it?
Something, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think the most interesting thing, I think it was this year, or maybe it was last year, was the last year, the first year that it's not been on the Wii because, they've always just brought it out on the Wii for some reason.
Well, I suppose people who bought the Wii probably still have it.
Absolutely, right. And for games like this,
yeah, exactly,
it really hits an audience. So, yeah,
BTS will be in the game as well. There you go. The K-pop band.
Oh right, I'm not down with the kids. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Fine.
We're not Ash Ketchum, buddy.
Wrong crowd. We'll move on. Ship of Fools coming out PC, PlayStation, Xboxes, and Switch. Next gen only. That doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right,
but Pete's put it, so trust in Pete. November 22nd, Ship of Fools is a seafaring cooperative roguelite. Set sail, man the cannons, and battle sea monsters through the tempestuous seas of the archipelago.
Close.
Is that right, Pete?
Close.
Oh, go on.
Archipelago.
Oh, fuck. So I've got like fucking 5 words left.
Yeah, you were really close. You nailed tempestuous, buddy.
Are you fool enough to stop the damn. 2 words. Aquapocalypse.
Oh, damn it.
Aquapocalypse.
So close, Eddie.
I mean, that's not even a word. Come on. Aquapocalypse. Fucking ridiculous. I thought this, by the blurb, was going to be like a first or third person game. It's not. It's a top-down game. Obviously, it's a roguelite. You can play it in single player or co-op. It looks the looks are similar to Don't Starve. This game looks pretty bad in my opinion. But there's a free demo as well on Steam before I open it up. So if you want to play it, what do you guys think?
I
think it looks really good.
I will say, well, okay, that's true.
I think it's great.
It's clean as fuck. It's clean as fuck, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, the UI,
it looks fantastic.
You like
clean as fuck. Yeah.
Clean.
I mean, I suppose I'm halfway between the two of you. I think this could be good. It could also be terrible.
But roguelikes have that, don't they? The roguelike is all to do with the mechanics of it and whether you can really get into that loop. But from the look of it and from the gameplay that I've seen and stuff, I reckon it looks really good.
It's
I love
first
the indie
release
roguelike
as well from the developer, but it's published by Team 17. So
hello.
It's got a decent backer there. You know? So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that are promising about it.
Yeah, fuck you, Eddie.
What?
Wow. Strong. Pick of the week?
Well, I'll let you know as well. Zero Siva is in early access now. So if you want to pick that up, then you can. There's no longer a demo on Steam, unfortunately, because I wanted to play the demo to see if they sorted out that nonsense about when you go in and you just have the same stuff.
How much is it, Eddie?
I think it was about 20 quid, I think.
Oh, is that too rich for you?
Yeah. About 15 quid.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Zero Siva. Here we go. It's 15.29. Yeah, 15 quid.
That's not too bad.
That's only 10 quid too much. But I'll let you know now. I'm not going to get it because they haven't sorted out the stuff when you go in and loot and you come out. But I have gone into the notes, the old developer notes, and they have said they are working on a hardcore mode.
And is that part of the hardcore mode?
They haven't said that, but I bloody well assume a hardcore mode will be one of those. If you die, then you lose everything. Sort of thing.
That just seems like such a weird thing they haven't put in. Like even in the bloody latest Warzone DMZ, they've got that.
Exactly, it's such an important thing of the whole Tarkov thing. So I'm shocked that they're obviously trying to pay its respect. But they.
Yes, I don't know if you just said then, because I know you said the name, but this is the 2D top-down Tarkov.
Oh yeah,
one, isn't it? Yeah. So
yeah. There you go. My pick of the week. I really want to say Evil West, but I can't because I know damn well that I'm going to play thousands and thousands of hours of Warzone 2. So it's going to be Warzone 2.
I'm disgusted that it's not Goat Simulator 3.
there was the banter side of me that wanted to put that one, or my Fantastic Ranch, you know.
Yeah, I was disappointed that wasn't the one. I know Pete was.
Pete's already playing it right now, that's why he's so quiet.
Yeah.
But that's it for new releases.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. So we're on to what we've been playing, and Ben, we'll let you lead us off because you're the one playing the new games.
Yeah, so I'll start with Sonic, won't I? Sonic Frontiers. So we'll talk about God of War Ragnarok in a bit. But
the finale,
yes, so I've played about 10 hours of Sonic Frontiers. First thing, anybody who is thinking about it or has got it, if you haven't, immediately change that to 60 frames a second. If you're playing on something that's capable of it, like I don't think the Switch version has that, but to change it, it makes it so much better. It's so much cleaner. And it's looks really nice then. This was one of the games that I have been looking forward to for a while, haven't I?
Yes, absolutely.
Been banging on about Sonic Frontiers. Yeah. And you know that I love to describe games in terms of other games.
Yes.
Go on,
smash them together.
Dark Souls. I mean, if you compare this to Dark Souls, I'll be fucking.
It's a mixture of Dark Souls. No.
Very good.
And Jack to Yummy.
Right, it's a mixture of Mario Odyssey meets Immortals Phoenix Rising. You know that Ubisoft game that was like Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
Meets Neon White. So
I like the fact that you double layered that. You know, that one that was like Breath of the Wild.
Well, I was going to say Breath of the Wild, but the thing is, Ubisoft games have like loads of shit on the map. So that's why I went Immortals Phoenix. See, I thought about this, and it's got like time travel stuff. So Neon White. So anyway, the game is kind of a mismatch, like a mash together of several parts. So it's got an open world that you kind of traverse, and you're continually getting mini collectibles, zooming up different things that are set around everywhere, and collecting stuff to progress. It's got mini games. It's got large scale kind of cinematic mini bosses and big boss fights. And it's got vaults, which are basically the Sonic levels, where they're classic levels, but they take you into cyberspace and you do the Sonic levels. And there's fishing, guys. There's fishing.
Yes.
And you'll say, how have they got fishing into this? And you go, well, they have. So what is fucking jarringly fantastic is that they've just looked at all these kind of popular games that are coming out, and they've gone, because we did hear that they wanted to get a high Metacritic score, so they've obviously looked at very popular games and gone, right, what do they do? And they've just put all the mechanics of that and just mashed it all together. And I have no fucking idea what they were thinking, and it does not feel right in any way, but it's fucking fun. It really is. It's good. So the general loop is you land on like an island, of which there are 5.
Right.
And you just traverse the island, going fast, doing these little, like, they're not puzzles, they're just like doing things around to collect things. And you collect a variety of different kind of currency of things, like keys and gears and memory tokens, these different things, and they all unlock different things. That allows you to kind of access different areas, which could be the Sonic levels or progress the story or something like that. And then you're trying to collect Chaos Emeralds around an island.
Of course. Yeah.
Once you've progressed the story in the island, you beat the boss, head to the next island. That's it. That's the loop. And it does that against a stunning musical backdrop.
I was about to ask what the music's like. So they've succeeded there.
Well, the first world especially. The first world is like so somber. It's just a match together of all these different things. So the first world has got this somber kind of Death Stranding type feel in terms of the environment, and Elden Ring type music, and it's just like it's all very mellow. And that is juxtaposed to go into a vault, and then you get the classic Sonic music firing at you as you do this like high speed level. And then when you do these boss battles, it's like just like this real power music comes in. You're like, who has designed this? But it's good. Like, it's like, okay, right, fine. It's like it doesn't know what it wanted to be, other than it recognised that these were all good, almost individual parts. But the key to a Sonic game and a 3D Sonic game is probably the movement, really. And at the start, like, it's a bit jarring, but you do very much get used to it. It's not the most precise and pinpoint thing in the world, but it doesn't punish you massively if you go over the edge or something. It doesn't it doesn't really punish you. It just loses you time and stuff like that. If you wanted to master the movement, there's a hell of a lot that they throw at you in the practice. When it's loading into different places, it takes you to a practice area and it shows you loads of different stuff. Not sure you really need that to do the game, but there are loads of different things you can do. And moving around the kind of the islands is very, very cool. All the different things you have to interact with and collect, and like these memory tokens and the keys, even if you're not going into the vaults, everything is dopamine hit after dopamine hit. It's like it's designed for like an extra 30 seconds will get you every 30 seconds you're hitting some extra thing of progress. Yeah. Like it is
what are the secrets like? Because I assume there's little things to find and hidden nooks and stuff, right?
Yeah, so it's all about... So one of the main things you're trying to find is like these... Your friends are all kind of locked in this cyberspace type thing. You have to unlock them by finding like memory tokens along the way in each island. You have to find like loads of them. Now, by doing like going on this thing and doing a loop-de-loop and jumping at the right place, you might... Then there'll be a memory token up there that you've got. It's very Mario Odyssey in terms of finding things around, and you're just every kind of step of the way there's something else for you to be. Stand on this switch and go from this to here, or unlock some of the map by going round this thing here and sprinting over to that thing over there. Like it's very like individual task based. But they're all very small individual tasks, and it's all very Sonic. Like rails are everywhere, like speed boosts are everywhere, and it's really good at getting you to traverse around the world and getting thrown around in loads of different directions and just it's just very cool in how it does it. Like the actual design of the levels is very, very impressive. What they've put together, and for that reason, it feels so pick up and play, because it is like progression every moment. I could put it on, and within 30 seconds, I could have done something that is slightly more than I had before. It's quite great, and it's got combat in it. It's relatively simple, but it's very effective. You're like circling enemies with your dash. You're generally attacking with only a couple of buttons or one main button, and then doing some combo skills that you kind of unlock, because you are unlocking skills for Sonic, and you're also upgrading his attack, his defense, the speed he can go, and the ring capacity that he's got from level 1 to 100. So it's like Elden Ring type thing. And it's but by collecting things along the land, you can then go and level up his thing. Now, because it's 1 to 100, when you level something up, it doesn't feel very material. But this game is all about micro progression. It's like just every little thing is just something more. And then you'll go fishing, and that will collect you loads of these different tokens, which you can spend to upgrade Sonic and stuff. And you're like, wow, everything you're doing is something which is perceived to be meaningful.
Even the fishing.
Even the fishing. They even turned the fishing into something which actually let me level up Sonic loads more. Or if you're struggling to get keys or whatever, like, you can buy keys through the fishing, through the stuff that you earn and stuff. Just like how they've done it. Like, even the individual Sonic levels, so when you go to cyberspace, they are quite short, but you get challenged. There's like 5 keys that you can earn each time, and that will be finish within a certain time and get an S rank, finish with over a certain number of rings, collect all the red coins on the level, like that type of thing, like little tasks. And so you can just repeatedly do it again and again and again to try and get all the keys. So it's very much one of those games where, for somebody who is just loving the loop, like loving that gameplay loop, and it kind of brings me on to a negative on that one, that it is kind of the same thing throughout from what I've experienced in all the different like islands.
Because this was the question: is what's the evolution? What's it building to? Like, do things get noticeably more difficult?
Well, again, I'm in hour 10. Now the bosses are quite like, the cinematic bosses are great, and like just the way that they're thinking. What I love about this game is just that it shows for me that Sonic is going in the right direction. Like, everything they're doing is kind of pushing a bit of a boundary and saying, well, how do we do this? Everything's different. Every boss is different. Every, like, how they've approached it all. And like, there's different, maybe it's QTEs, maybe it's doing something from top down instead. Like, everything is just a little bit different. And I'm not sure about leveling up Sonic, like how much is really necessary. I mean, my speed is probably like level 30 or something at the moment. If that was level 100, what the fuck is that going to be like? Because he's already fucking fast. Like, I have no
That's
fucking idea.
That's where you unlock 120 frames per second.
Yeah, exactly. But this for me doesn't seem like, for that reason, doesn't seem like a game that you play for 5 hours on end. And I certainly haven't. But it seems very much like an hour or two. It's a pick up and play type game. I love it for that. And if you don't like that loop, then obviously there's something wrong with you, because it is just continuous dopamine hits. Continuous dopamine hits. I mean, it's game of the year. But crucially, if you don't like that kind of loop, or you're not getting it from the outset, you're probably just going to dislike the game, because it doesn't really change. Yeah. As far as I can see, it doesn't really change.
So if you don't like dopamine, you won't enjoy it.
Yeah, if you're not into dopamine, then don't even bother. Don't even bother. The one thing that has been pointed out a lot is the pop-in on this game. So I'm playing on PS5. The performance is fine. The actual performance of the game, I'm finding, like frame rates, all that kind of stuff, I'm not noticing anything wrong in that regard. What you do notice is pop-in. And the problem with pop-in in a game like this is that if I stand on something really high because I want to see, there's that thing over in the distance, that my map hasn't notified, or there's a vault down there or something I want to find, I literally can't see it because it wouldn't have popped in. And you can be running along, and then things just suddenly kind of appear in front of you.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Now, that's not so bad in the first world. It really isn't. But as soon as you get to the second world, it starts to know. Because I got to the second world and I was like, you know what? This pop-in thing that everyone's banging on about, it's not a problem. It's just not a problem. I mean, it's there, it's present, but I'm not worried about it. Like, it's fine. Now,
I really hope it gets worse the faster you get as well.
Exactly.
Speed 100, it's just like a tree appears.
Precisely, Pete. Yeah. That is the worry with it. That is real. And another thing, this is a real side thing, but right when you press start and go into the menus, to access like the things. So if you go to settings or something, and to actually go down and look down the settings, you have to then press X to be able to move down, and it's just a real weird. Like you go into settings, and you're like, oh, why can't I move anything? And you have to press it. It's just really annoying. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
I get them to change that immediately. But overall, from what I've played, 10 hours, and I think it's great. I love it. Honestly, the worlds are cool. The shifting to the open world, back to the vaults, and that's at the old school Sonic levels, to the fishing. It's a fucking mess. But
wow.
I love it. I think it's great.
It's a glorious mess. Yeah.
It's a glorious fucking mess. And I think the key at the moment for me is this is a great game to be playing in and amongst these other games.
Yes, it's almost good timing, really.
Yeah,
it's really good,
isn't it?
Yeah. It is, and I've been playing it on the Steam Deck through remote play as well. So it's great on the sofa. Works really well with the controls there. Yeah, it's really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. So anybody who's on the fence, yeah, if you like the sound of that loop, then
how long do you think it's going to be?
I think it's about 25 hours.
Healthy, yeah.
I think it's about 25 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you get a lot of content out of it. As I said, there are 5 worlds, and yeah, it does have a story. It's very basic, but it does have a story as it works through. But yeah, palate cleanser, and I think Sonic fans will really like this, and I think the progression and where it's going to head after this is quite promising.
Excellent. Ideal. Well, we'll obviously come back to you shortly for your other game. But I mean, I did tell a bit of a lie at the beginning there, because I actually have been playing a new game. A game that's so new, I've only managed to play about half an hour. Because it came out today, which is Pentiment.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah,
you're going to play this.
Yeah. Now, I'm not Kirk, so I'm not going to judge it off half an hour.
Oh, good. Yeah. Thank God.
But yeah, I know. But I will say it's very promising so far.
Really?
Yeah. It started out with a bit of an annoyance because it had a nice little 2-minute credit roll at the beginning. I don't like a beginning credit roll in anything, but it did that. But so far, what I've done at this point, which is very little, was really enjoyable. And much like other games of this type, and I mean, immediately it reminds me of things like West of Loathing. Mm-hmm. The writing's really good. It's really interesting. And you seem to have quite a lot of choices to give you different outcomes. Even just setting up your backstory and all that sort of thing. There's a lot of completely separate choices. You'll have like 3 or 4 options 4 or 5 times within the first half hour. So it's like, okay, there's quite a lot of variety going on here.
Well, you can tell this is Obsidian then from the outset.
Exactly, yeah, that's what it's thinking, which, yeah, I think it's going to go well. And all I'd say is expect a lot more updates next week.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what you say about this, because it's got an 86 on Metacritic. I know IGN gave it a 10 out of 10 masterpiece.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, looking forward to what
you... IGN.
Yeah, looking forward to what you think of that one, because I think it's kind of right up your street with the kind of what it's basing itself on.
Definitely. I did think instantly Eddie would never play this because there's a lot of reading.
Oh, and myself, yeah.
Yeah, well, I assumed you wouldn't anyway.
But... I mean, it's only reading, isn't it?
Yeah, for the most part.
It's the whole game.
It's a lot of
But it is voice acted, right? Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not, actually. It's not voice acted.
No, it's not.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Ben's out.
I'm out.
Ben was already out. There's reading involved.
I don't read in my leisure time. Come on.
If I wanted to read, I'd read a fucking book.
And he wouldn't read a book.
No, absolutely not.
He never wanted to read. Yeah.
Right, I'll go next. I've been playing Tunic. It came out in March this year, for those of you who don't know. Loads of people are saying Game of the Year contenders for certain... I mean, some are saying for Game of the Year contender outright, but a lot of other people have had it in other categories and whatnot. So I thought I have to play it. Kirk said that he's got it as his Game of the Year. Well, he said Game of the Year at the time when he played it. So
I mean, he's only played one game, hasn't he? So it has to be his Game of the Year.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another. No, he hasn't played any of them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Was there a
COD
racing
campaign
game this year?
I don't know.
Rocket League Season 25?
Yeah, can you put that in your Game of the Year? Yeah. All right, we're ripping on Kirk a bit.
And I mean, to be fair, it is in the lineup for the Game Awards under Indies.
Nice.
And I think debut Indies. I think there's a separate category this year.
Lovely. Brilliant.
Yeah.
There you go. I vote for that. But yeah, for now, we're going to have to deal with Tunic. It's... for those of you who don't know, I don't know, it's just it's a computer game. There you go.
Wow, giving it a lot there. That's nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where you're a little fox and you run around and you kill enemies.
You ever heard of the term damning with faint praise? Because we're getting a definition from it here, but okay.
It's Zelda meets Dark Souls.
Thank you, man. It's
my
Zelda.
God, come on.
He's not wrong.
You're a fox.
I've fucking nailed it. That's what I've done. I fucking nailed it. Oh, meets Endling then.
Very good. Very good. So let's get the positives for this game out of the way. It's really, really beautiful in its own way. It's really simplistic kind of art style, but it's really, really nice in its own way. It's like kind of bright, and you just feel happy playing it. Even running through like the grass like kind of parts as you run through, and the fox has got a little cute way of running along. Yeah, I'm really stretching for positives here. It's very, very atmospheric. I will say that. It's really, really well done. I don't know why. I think it might be down to the brightness and probably a lot of it down to the music. But it's just got a really nice feel to it. That with the drawings, they've got like guides and maps where you like pull up by pressing select and whatnot, and they're all kind of hand drawn in a really cool way. I don't really know how to describe it, but look online, have a look at it. They're all really, really well done. So like the whole look of the game, the whole like design of the look and the feel, everything is fucking brilliant. Now it doesn't hold your hand. I'll say that straight away. In fact, when you come to play and there's no instructions or anything, you actually have to find like your first bit of the manual, which is kind of cool. Same with like finding things. It doesn't really tell you. It kind of gives you a map with like 3 ticks and you go, I assume I have to do that. And there are places where you can like zoom out of yourselves to see what's around you. But even that doesn't really tell you where to go and what to do. So you kind of have to do it all on your own, which if you're not invested in it, it becomes really annoying, because if you're, for example, playing it only because Kirk says it's Game of the Year, then it's just frustrating to try and find the right way to go. And even when you go the right way, there's no like, you've just done that correctly. It's just done, and then you try and go to another area of the map, and if it's not unlocked, then you have to go back and you have to find out what way you haven't gone. Right. It's very much on rails. You can't get to one section without completing, like either a boss or unlocking a weapon or something to get to the next stage, or unlocking a lantern so you can see in the dark, yada yada yada. So it's very much on rails, which I hate in a game. What I really didn't like is like you can't even fall down the stairs or jump or anything like that. So it's like so
throw the tiny fox down the stairs.
It's just it's just time consuming things. When you've ran around like the 4th time because you've realised you haven't done something, it's just annoying that you can't just jump down some stairs and you have to actually like go back and forth and go down the stairs. It's just little things like that I just think it's a bit lazy that they didn't incorporate that, or maybe even a jump fucking button or something. Which kind of annoys me. It's quite slow, and to be honest with you, the mechanics are quite simple. So I really found it quite boring. I actually found it so boring that after about an hour of playing it, and I really hope my girlfriend's not listening to this. I told my girlfriend, because she's like, let's spend more time together. And I was like, here we go. I'll get her to play it. I'll be with her, and then that will count as me, our time.
Fantastic. Can you clip that bit for Twitter then?
Yeah, do not. And I know my dad listens to this podcast. You can shut your mouth as well, sir. So even she found it boring, and she doesn't really play computer games, and she was pretty bored of it. I believe her final comment when I went, can you give me like an overall arc of what you're... I think she said, I'd rather not play it again. So that's not a solid...
Strong
solid review. But look, my final take, I reckon looks and atmosphere of the game, for what it is, for the simplicity of it, yet the looks and the atmosphere and the feel of the game, honestly, 9 out of 10. Absolutely brilliant for that side of it. But the gameplay, just like a 5, because it's very simple. It gets pretty old. I know they have little different mechanics, like you unlock a sword, then you unlock like a lantern, then a hook, and there's little quirky things that you can do with them, but it's too slow to get there, and even those things aren't enough to keep me playing the game. So, a solid 7 out of 10 game. If you're looking at it, because some people are saying Game of the Year. If you're looking at it like the way you looked at It Takes Two, which is, was it last year's winner? The year before?
Yeah, it was,
last year's winner. If you look at it like that, like, we created this kind of game, then I can kind of see why people would vote for it. Because if you go, we are making a simplistic computer game, then fine. But that's it to me, and that should not be enough to win Game of the Year. But hey, look, I'm not going to show on Kurt too much for voting for it. It is what it is.
Yeah, I did about this.
Yeah, go for it.
So I've recently installed Tunic in order to play it before the end of the year.
Yeah.
But what I liked most was that the Xbox app, it gives you what you might also like along because of this. Yeah. And what's on that list is Gears 5 and the Yakuza series. And they're like, I don't think there's an overlap.
You know what? If I could describe Tunic to our listeners, it's a mashup between Yakuza
and Gears 5.
And Gears 5. I believe, actually, the Fox in Tunic is played by Bautista. So, there you go. That's
he is perfect for the role.
That was a deep callback there. I like that. I didn't really get on with this game when I played it because I think I was just a bit burnt out on these types of games like Death's Door and stuff like that. Just a bit burnt out on it, and I can't really be asked to play it. And that's not really against the game. It's just that quite a few games like this out.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the big one then?
Yeah,
I think we probably should. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Sonic was the big one, but I guess this.
Yeah, it turns out it's not. Well, not in these days.
Not for other people.
Yeah, it's a month of months. So, God of War Ragnarok. Yeah. We've talked about it already. It came out. I'm 11 hours in, so let's just caveat everything that I'm about to say with that. And this will be completely spoiler free, so I know people haven't started it. You don't need to skip this or anything like that. So if you're waiting on the game, don't worry. Absolutely, yeah. Joel dies. There's no spoilers here.
I mean, if that actually happened in this game, that would be a massive spoiler.
but I wouldn't know I was spoiling anything.
Crossover, but
trust. I don't believe. I don't believe it's any spoilers. But weirdly, I'm going to start this the opposite way around. I'm going to start with the negatives of how I felt after the first 5 hours or so. Okay. So, this is very much a video game, and I know you guys will get what I'm saying. For me, it's way too much like a video game. It's not necessarily a criticism because so was the last game. But what I mean by this is you feel on top of the environment. You're placed on it. The world isn't particularly interactable except for the chosen boxes that you can break or the puzzles you're set to do. You don't even seem to leave footsteps in the snow. You swing your weapon at a wall and your weapon kind of just swings through it. a small thing to climb. Nah, not a chance. Not a chance. No way, buddy. Not if it's not on the set path. If it's on your set path, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. If there's a marker on that wall, yeah, climb that, buddy. Climb that. If there's that small thing over there you want to get, not a chance. Every area has puzzles. You're either fighting or a puzzle. And there's places that marked for where you climb. There are different paths that you can go down in a particular area, but it's all an illusion of being open because it's actually just this path or branch left, branch right, come back to the main path type thing. The puzzles are absolutely ridiculous if you consider this to be an actual lived-in world. There are random chests everywhere, just nonsense. And you thought A Plague Tale was gamey, didn't you?
Hugely, hugely.
You see nothing, buddy. You see fucking nothing.
So the mechanics are basically like in your face the entire time.
Yeah. You see absolutely nothing until you played this. I do think the pacing is odd. Sometimes I find myself zoning out and getting bored. And then a story beat comes in and it brings you right back in. And it's more of the same as 2018.
Of course.
So, but then I had a word with myself. And I said, Ben, this is a game.
Is this one of those moments where you had to do the sort of "you don't need a treat, you're not a dog" moment with yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's when I have a word with myself when I say things like that.
Yeah,
famously. I had a word with myself. I said, this is a game, and it's a game that it doesn't care that it's a game. It's self-aware of it. It doesn't care that it's acting like this. And what the fuck did I expect when it's a sequel to God of War 2018, which was exactly doing that? And then when I kind of accepted that, I started to enjoy it a lot more. I loved the first game when I played it. I just think as a gamer, I have changed. And this type of single-player narrative game, which isn't linear because you can choose areas and side quests and go back to areas and that type of stuff, but it is largely linear. When you get to a particular zone or particular quest or something, they're harder for me to get into at the moment. I think that's probably where the direct comparison for me comes to like Elden Ring or something like that. But now if we fast forward to like hour 11 or 12 where I am now, I have flipped somewhat because I was never someone that subscribed to the "this is just DLC" nonsense. It's obviously not. This game is better in every single way than the first one. And bear in mind that I did love the first one when I played it. And there are genuine side quests with stories that take you serious time, and you genuinely feel rewarded at the end of it. And they seem to have streamlined all the upgrades and everything, and it's good. It absolutely does something different to the first game as well. No spoilers or anything like that. So it does evolve. That very much does happen. However, people may shout at this, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's too different to the first game. I think it does feel to me like a continuation. Now, someone else I know has been playing it as well, and they're pretty much at the exact same place that I am discussing with them earlier. And they think exactly the same, that they love it. They absolutely love it. Don't get me wrong, but they do think it's like the first one, just, carried on. Now, but speaking to a friend of the show, Donnie, he thinks differently, and he absolutely loves it. So, and thinks it has kind of developed quite a bit. So I think that is up to interpretation, or it maybe develops a lot more past where I am. So, like I said, I'm 11 hours in.
Yeah.
And also maybe I don't remember the limitations of the first game properly. Yeah. So that could be something. But the narrative to this game.
Quickly stop you there. Do you think maybe being on this podcast, playing loads of different games that you normally wouldn't touch, and hearing mine and Pete's opinion on linear games all the time, probably has made you actually go from, the first one was fantastic and I really enjoyed it, to actually I deserve more when I'm paying a lot of money for a game.
100%. I've changed in that regard, and I've become a lot more, I think,
mature.
Analytical towards it. No, not so mature, but just viewing things in a slightly different light. Something that I just accept, but naturally now it's like, oh no, but I I actually like it when it does this or when it doesn't do that. And
even without me and your opinion, Eddie, I think because you're on a podcast, we're getting very meta here, breaking the fourth wall.
Yes.
Because you're doing that, you're more critical, you're more analytical, as you said, Ben, about the game. So
absolutely,
your suspension of disbelief is so much less, which in narrative is so important.
And I think when I came into this and I started playing it, I was immediately going, okay, like, and trying to almost look at it a little bit, when actually stepping back and just accepting the game for what it is and just go, let's just turn off and just play this.
Yeah.
That would have a different response. And sometimes you do get that because, as I was just the narrative, when you actually just let yourself be taken by that, it's fantastic. Like, it is fantastic. The characters from before are more interesting than they were. The new characters have a lot of depth. The story beats, the set pieces, they're just fantastic. And it just, as soon as, like, now I find myself, like, maybe going for a slower bit or something like that, it just grabs you right back in. It's brilliant, and it's what holds it all together, because for me, the general gameplay loop of God of War with the combat and the puzzles and stuff, that probably wouldn't be enough to hold me. But my God, you put that story writing on, and it is so good, like the way it's presented. To the gameplay itself, I mean, anyone who's played the first one, and those who don't know, the combat is interesting. It's good, and I think it is better, and it's more varied from the outset. And you have both weapons, which you took ages to get the Chaos Blades in the last one. So you have both weapons from the outset. I got a little bit bored, I think, in the first game towards the end with the combat. That's why after I completed it, I did a little bit more, and then I didn't really do much more. There is a lot more going on here, and the upgrading of armors, weapons, skills seems to pack more punch, I think, in this one. The loop of the enemies and stuff isn't irritating. The enemies themselves, the variety is great. It's not as bad as Spider-Man. Like, you go to a new area, 25 people, fight, kill, move on. Like, Spider-Man has that real rinse repeat feel. God of War doesn't have that. Like, it is constantly taking you to a new place or new enemies and stuff like that, except for they've got these annoying lizard things everywhere, and whoever the fuck thought that was a good idea, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But apart from that one enemy type, it's you can't really fault them on that. And I'm sure you've all seen what it looks like.
Yeah, of course.
It looks fantastic. I know we did our feature last week on graphics. This game looks great, and the PS4, from what I can see, does not hold this back one fucking bit. The graphics and the polish on this game, absolutely outstanding. It is Sony quality through and through. It's absolutely wonderful to look at, and it just seems that Sony released these games on day one, like, not with a big patch or anything. They just work, and they work so fucking well. Where are the bugs in this game? Like, it's just out the box fantastic. I would say that when I'm in the world and that kind of, like, that the world is, I feel like I can't really interact with anything that it doesn't want me to actually interact with, kind of thing. I do think that's a little bit immersion breaking, but it's something that you could look past. And the accessibility options in the game are also wonderful in terms of difficulties, objective hints, the characters talking to you, and all this type of stuff. So they have loads of options. But I wanted this to be, and I still do want this to be, my game of the year. And it absolutely could be my game of the year because I'm 11 hours in. Yeah. I'm not quite blown away by it yet, which, I think I actually will be blown away. Firstly, I was like, okay, after the first 5 hours it will open up, and it did a little bit, and I was like, okay, this is a little bit better. And then by hour 10 I was like, okay, this hasn't blown me away yet. Is it going to do it soon? But some of the set pieces that are happening, some of the directions it takes you, it is very impressive, and it is the storytelling. The storytelling is fantastic, I think. but I want nothing more than this to be absolutely awesome. So I hope it does get there, because I think it's about 25 to 30 hours in length.
Yeah.
So,
so you're only about a third of the way in.
Exactly, and this is why the caveat was I'm 11 hours in, and there will be people out there saying, no, it just gets better and better, and they're probably right. Like, I am really enjoying this, and more than that, for what it's trying to be. As I said, like, I don't know why I went in with this almost stupid expectation of something different to 2018, because that's what it was doing. Like, why was I thinking this? But I almost then turned myself into quite negative on it. But that's not true. And the craft that they put into this game is actually second to none for what they're going for. It's absolutely fucking fantastic. And it is, as you said, Pete, it's easier for me to be critical of something when playing that is this accomplished. Like, then you're trying to be critical, aren't you? Because it's you're going, okay, like, how? Let me kind of look at this from an analytical standpoint. And I know I'm sounding a little bit negative, but we need to start from the perspective that this is at least a 9 out of 10. and I'm just talking around that. So I'm not being...
Every time that you do these reviews, Ben, you take us on a hell of a roller coaster.
I know.
I'm going to start with the negatives, but only if you start off from the perspective of it being a 9 out of 10.
Yes, but that's the point. But you know, we are talking about a fucking top tier single player game, and not talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
You'd just be left talking in superlatives and saying, yeah, it's amazing, it's a 9, 10 out of 10, yeah, it's fantastic. But that's not really, like, we're here to talk about a game, like, actually talk about things in a bit more depth, and I don't think there'd be much point. I think it's obviously brilliant, and I think the story is what will carry it, so let's see where that goes, because I think that's going to make or break it.
Also, Ben, just to come back to this, when did you start wanting this to be your game of the year?
No, what I'm saying by that is I would like nothing more than a game that I'm playing right now to be game of the year. I don't I want the game of the year to be the best game, and I would love to be playing the best game of the year right now. Okay. It's not that I specifically want this. I want the same from Sonic, but this has a lot more opportunity to be that game of the year than Sonic does. So yeah, I just want this to be the best game that it could be, and it is getting better, and I think it will open up more and all that kind of stuff. So I think I might be at a turning point around this 11-hour point where it might just shoot off, but we'll hear more about that next week, I think.
I hope so. I'm assuming by then you'll have finished it. So
yeah, well, Pokemon comes out on Friday, so I need to get a shift on. Need to get a shift on, don't I?
Sonic and God of War before then.
Absolutely, but I am, as I said, I've put in a shit ton of game time this week. So I am trying. I'm trying my very best.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. Well, I suppose that brings us on to the feature, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yes.
Which, I'm going to be honest, we're not going to spend a massive amount of time on this Indie Direct because, for one, it wasn't that long. It was 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was 25 minutes, yeah.
It's a healthy length. But also, just because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't think it was the best of them.
Yeah, it's funny because the Nintendo Directs are the ones that I always think I'm going to hate, but I've always loved them in the past. How many times have you guys gone, oh, sorry, Eddie, do you mind watching it? And I've gone, I've actually loved it. I think it's pretty. Yeah, this one is different.
It's got a little bit. It's not terrible, but it's also not one of the top tier ones.
Yeah. Well, let's start it off with. I mean, the first game out the gate was Vember, and then we had Goodbye World to follow it, and Have a Nice Death. So let's start with Vember, shall we? Let's start with a narrative cooking game.
You said it all in that. Say no more.
Say no more, say less, say less.
The only positive is when they were talking about the game, there was a really cute cat there.
Yeah, that was a running theme through this direct.
There was even cuter one later.
Oh my god.
On that one, Pete, we have got written narrative cooking game about an immigrant Indian mother and her family coming to Canada in the 80s. That's
I mean, it paints a word picture for you. If that speaks to you,
it's a lot going on there. There's a bloody lot going on. It's very niche.
Yeah,
very
and
niche.
then we had Goodbye World, which I can't remember at all.
Oh, that's like the really Game Boy looking one.
Good.
Where they're constantly moving up and down, which stresses me out.
But, well, I mean, not to jump past it, because I'm sure you're both mega fans, but Have a Nice Death was a great looking game, wasn't it?
Yeah, here we go. This is where it started, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's really good.
It really did. I mean, we've both done the Ben technique of squashing stuff together. You put Hollow Knight and Dead Cells mixed. I put Reminded Me of Ori and Hades mixed.
Yeah.
I think both of those are pretty legitimate ways to put it. It looks like a really good, funny action roguelike.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a fun game.
Yes, I think it looks excellent.
I think you two will love that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's a March release next year, so not too long to wait, which is fantastic. My God, we're released in 2023. Yeah. Then we had, I'm going to go with AKA, but it could easily be Aka.
Oh, it's got to be Aka, isn't it?
I think it is Aka.
Yeah.
Fine.
I think they said Aka. I think they said in Aka.
Right, okay. Fair enough. You can tell I skipped over this one. It's not my type of thing. I mean, have you put down Cozy, Ben?
Yeah, so I put
Cozy. I've never heard that before.
We've talked about Cozy game. You've said that before, Eddie.
No, I've never said Cozy. I think there's other words to use.
Game.
It's not Cozy.
Oh, it's a Cozy game. No, it's a Cozy game. Everyone knows what I mean when I say Cozy.
Yeah, you know what? I know exactly what you mean by it. Yeah, but so it's ridiculous it's a small, that you said it.
What we've written, small open world, narrative, survival-ish. Yeah. And I've also put, frame rate looks horrible.
Yes, that's the bit I actually remember about this. But
I think that's quite good. There's crafting. There's the run around. It's really cute. Looks like the fox from Tunic.
It looks cozy, doesn't it?
Quite cozy.
Looks very cozy, actually.
But the only reason I mentioned this one separately is because I didn't want to put Pepper Grinder in with anything else, because I quite like the look of Pepper Grinder, which came next.
It's Devolver Digital.
It's Devolver. They never miss, and I think the movement looks fantastic. The graphics less so, but the movement, the music,
graphics look shite.
They look great. I mean, they look great. Come on.
No comment.
Wow, savage Ben.
Yes, yeah.
I like Pepper Grinder. Moving on, we then saw a little.
Had great music.
It did
That's
have
the point I made.
Great music. It did have great music.
Yeah.
Moving on, we had a little run of games which included Coffee Talk, episode 2, which was Hibiscus and Butterfly, even though they can't say Hibiscus on there. Then we had Oni, Road to the Mightiest Oni, great repetition in the title. Desta, The Memories Between, and A Space for the Unbound. Any of these stand out to you guys?
Oni looked really beautiful. I really liked the look of it.
Yeah, it looked graphically really nice, didn't it?
Yeah, really, really liked the look of it.
Cool anime style.
Yeah.
3D action adventure game. Yeah, lovely. Bit cartoony. Good stuff.
Yeah. The others I thought looked horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't great. I mean, Desta had an interesting art style, but that was about it.
I wasn't mad at Coffee Talk.
Yeah, I think Coffee Talk would be a good game to play for half an hour. Do you know what I mean?
A free demo.
Yeah, like a free demo would be like, oh, this is quite cool. I won't go back, but that was quite cool. Yeah.
I was pretty sure that we talked about episode 1 at once upon a time.
I feel we have done, yeah. I feel we have done.
Maybe in another direct.
Maybe. Probably, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at that. But yeah.
Okay, and no comment on A Space for the Unbound at all? Nice.
Nice.
I can't remember what... I can remember what it looks like, actually.
One, like... Metal Slug artwork. I don't know why I've gone there. We're all mentioning old games, so I'm doing it.
Yeah, you're right though. I like. Yeah, that's not.
To our listeners, it says a lot when Ben put it. I mean, it looks fine.
that was our personal notes. Yes.
And we then had Dordogne, Botany Manor, and Once Upon a Jester.
The standout there for me, Once Upon a Jester.
Oh my God, by a mile. Yeah.
That looked great. And the voice acting that was in the trailer, I think, isn't actually the real game. So it's you're a travelling theatre group and you plan to steal a royal diamond. It's got serious Night in the Woods vibes for me. I thought it looked really, really good.
Fair. It definitely was the standout of those three.
Oh, God.
It's one of those games I know I'm never going to play. But I can kind of appreciate what they're doing. Fair enough, yeah.
I might. That was really good.
I'm going to agree with you that it's the standout because Dordogne looked boring as shit and Botany Manor looks like it should never have been made in the first place. But no, I think Once Upon a Jester looks fucking horrendous.
I can't even remember what Dordogne was.
Dordogne when you're the little girl and you're running around like collecting stuff.
This is the one that had like the combination of anime and watercolor stuff going on.
Set in
southern France.
Because my only comment on that was good luck with that frame rate.
Yes.
I'm not sure whether that was frame rate or that was
frame rate,
or whether that was artistic design. The Switch is getting old, guys. It is getting old.
I mean, it's very noticeable. And then we had
the art style of Once Upon a Jester. You don't need a fucking frame rate for that. Jesus Christ.
It's wonderful, yeah.
You could
I agree with you, Eddie.
Fucking magazine, you could.
I agree. It looks fantastic.
Christ,
you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're right.
Is one of her characters a sock? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yes, I think one of them is. Yeah, because his name was Sock, wasn't it?
Oh,
dear God,
it's good stuff.
It's okay, but you can move us on now.
Thank Christ, please. Yes, then we had Rogue Legacy 2, which was a drop, wasn't it?
It was,
same day. Yeah. Blanc and WrestleQuest. Oh no, WrestleQuest was one of the ones that got shortened. So let's look at Rogue Legacy 2 and Blanc to begin with. Any thoughts?
I thought Rogue Legacy 1 looked quite good, actually. So it's a roguelike where it seems like it's a looter. And you're building your base or your castle, and then you have a legacy of like children and stuff like that who have different abilities. Maybe your character dies, but you're carrying on the legacy, trying to build it up.
Heirs,
it had like a Shovel Knight type style, but actually I thought it looked all right. And guys, there was a Rogue Legacy 1.
There was, and by the way, it's got some form of base building in there for you, Eddie.
Yeah,
you build up your castle, don't you? Yeah. So. I actually thought this was probably the standout game of the show for me.
Wow.
But
that's big time.
Only just, because I think Have a Nice Death is the other one. And then let's talk about Blanc, which I can see from your notes, Ben, you thought was good. I immediately saw it was 2 players and you play as a wolf and a fawn, and I was like, get out.
Same. Like, is that a forced 2-player game?
Yes.
Can you not play that single player?
I think it's purely 2-player.
I'm out then.
It might be one of those like where you play with someone online, maybe.
Still, I'm out.
I think this is beautiful. Like,
it looks great. Like, console exclusive as well. Switch exclusive.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
February 14th.
I really like the art style. Really, really like the art style.
But you can't force surely not in this day and age. Who's got friends to be playing Blanc with?
I just don't like anything that's forced 2-player.
Optional 2-player, fine.
Yeah, optional 2-player, a big positive. Not having single player, get fucked.
They specifically did not mention single player. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that is harsh. Get to fuck.
Fucked is the accurate and correct representation of it.
Good. Okay.
And then we rolled into the end of the show, which is where they do like 30 seconds on a million different things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we got WrestleQuest, Wobble Dogs, Storyteller, and World of Horror.
What is World of Horror? Like the other two. So the Wrestle, that looks just silly. The Wobble one, that looks shit. The Storyteller just looks like a game that you could literally play in a cardboard box. But what is World of Horror? Like, I didn't really. It was too much for me.
So it's a black and white kind of. I don't even know how to describe it.
No, that's what I mean. I didn't understand what was my eyes were showing me.
Do you remember Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
That sounds really familiar.
It's one of the oldest games for PC, and loads of people would have played it at a very young age. This looks like a game that was a precursor to Carmen Sandiego.
Right. Yeah.
That's what World of Horror reminds me of. When it, couldn't do colour on PCs, that type of level. So, yeah, not great. I'm not gonna lie. And okay, good. And then we saw Curse of the Sea Rats, a little to the left. Inscription.
God.
and Sports Story. Yeah. Now, Curse of the Sea Rats was channeling Biker Mice from Mars with the art, which I'm cool with.
Yeah.
I'm all good with that. A little to the left.
We've talked about a little from the left, haven't we?
We did.
But it made
I'm sure
so
we did.
much worse.
We've definitely talked about it because I remember I was disgusted by how this is a game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I ranted about it.
The rampant self-satisfaction of the developers as they talked about it made it so much worse.
It's not for us. It's not for us.
Fucking cute cat though.
Yeah, I thought you'd appreciate it.
Wasn't that the cat who wasn't even looking at us?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Eddie likes being dismissed by the cat.
It's a cat. If you're trying to get its attention, then don't have a cat.
Yeah, fair.
But it's about time that Inscription came to the Switch.
Really
I think that's a perfect home for it. I played it on the Steam Deck, so it's a perfect home for it. And then you mentioned Sports Story, didn't you? Which was the sequel to Golf Story, which is quite highly anticipated, and it's coming out next month. I don't have the date to hand, so that's why I was a bit hesitant in saying that. But yes, it's coming out next month. So actually looking at this list, so that was the end of the show. In March, 22nd of March, we've got Have a Nice Death. That's good. We've got
that's an amazing one, yeah.
We've got Rogue Legacy 2, which is out right now. We like the look of that. Once Upon a Jester didn't put that date down, but I think it's 2023. Not sure if it's got a specific month. And Sports Story, which is next month, and Blanc is February 14th. So actually, I reckon there's some decent picks there, to be honest.
Fair. I mean, this is it. There's an awful lot of stuff in there for spring, and it was a varied direct. So there's gonna be something for most people who play these type of games.
Yeah, WrestleQuest as well looked quite nice. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, man, you're really stretching it, buddy.
Maybe clutching. Yeah. Okay.
Clutching. Yes. So,
clutch.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't overly impressed. I do think Rogue Legacy 2 looks good. I do think Have a Nice Death looks good.
Okay, well, 2 out of 20 ain't bad.
Exactly. I'll
10% hit rate on
10%, baby, and one of them's out already.
10% hit rate for you on Switch. Take that all day.
Exactly.
Take that all fucking day.
Exactly. It's
to be fair, I'm 2 out of 10 as well. I'm that Oni game and the Sports Story. So
it's 2 out of 20. We got 20 games here. So.
Blanc looked nice, although it looked pretty simple. So I'm 2.5. I'm 2.5.
Force 2-player Blanc.
Yeah. Okay. 2.5.
2.5.
Good.
And there were 2 cats in it, so I'm bumping that up to a 3.
There we go. That's all you need to get Eddie involved.
Okay, yeah. So overall, I think this direct. But then again, they only announced this direct like literally days before it happened.
That's very true.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely one that goes in with a higher expectation of these directs than it ever turns out to be. So I think going with the right expectation, it's just showcasing a few games, and they showcased 22 games there. There's going to be 1, maybe 2 that catch your eye. So there we go.
Yeah, very true. But just like that was the end of their show, this is the end of ours, isn't it? We're there. We've reached it. So if anyone wants to vehemently defend a little to the left or anything else, how would they get in touch with us?
You can email us, podcast@grumpygamers.co.uk. You can tweet us @grumpygamerspod. Our YouTube channel is Grumpy Gamers Podcast, where we put a short out this week of Eddie's gameplay, Eddie's wonderful gameplay on Warzone, 200 IQ, and you made us win a trios, didn't you?
Yeah,
a clutch victory. So that's good. Go and watch our YouTube short there. And Grumpy Gamers Podcast, all one word, is our Twitch channel, 7 p.m. Thursdays. I think, guys, you two are playing Rocket League this week.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be streaming, and Pete, if you want to bring my level,
I most certainly will. I'll bring the level down hugely. I haven't played it since the last time we played it, which was like 4 months ago.
That's good, so we'll have some fun. I'll have some fun in the chat. It will be good. We'll be back to some story games soon enough, but I think this is a nice one. I enjoyed your stream last week, Eddie, so yeah,
cool.
Another one of those.
And also, just before we say GG, if you do want to defend a little to the left, please don't contact me. I don't want to talk to you.
Oh, please.
But for this week, it is GG.
You must contact it anyway. GG.
GG.